All right, one more minute and then we'll get started, everyone. I've hit record, so we're all set to begin, but I see a couple others joining right now, so I'm just gonna give it another minute. All right. Um, I'll keep an eye on the waiting room and see if anyone else hops on with us this morning, but good morning. I hope you all have dug out of your snow and stayed safe during the storm over the weekend. I think it looks really pretty right now and kind of covers up all the brown and gray that we were looking at before. So I won't complain too much about that. But I'm Sarah Keenan. I'm taking over these office hours that Amanda hosted up until this year. And we're going to continue to meet the second Monday and fourth Tuesday of every month. And again, this is an open forum for all of you to, oh, I've got a couple of people in the waiting room. Sorry. See, I can't do two things at once. I should have someone helping me. My fault. All right, I've let them in. Anyway, we want to continue this as kind of your space to get together and bring questions to us here at the food bank or to your, partner network, your peers out there. And we're happy to learn from you and share any information that we might have to add to it. Today, joining me off camera is Devin McLaughlin. We're on one computer to kind of prevent any feedback here. Devin, you want to say hi? I think there's quite a few of your partners on today.
Hi, everybody.
So hopefully you can hear him. If there's anything specific to Devin, I'll turn the computer around to him so you can see him and hear him a little more clearly. But yeah, I'm going to open the floor. Is there anyone who wants to kick things off? Anything on your mind that you want to bring to the group or for me to bring back to the food bank in general? Please go right ahead to take yourself off on mute and share what you have.
A question regarding these meetings. This is Jean Ellen from Project Neighbor in North Valley. There isn't going to be a standing Zoom link. We need to register each time in order to get access to the link.
So because it's a recurrent meeting, the way that the registration was set up was to register for each individual meeting, but the way that I sent the invites out, you can register for all of them at once. But there are two separate links. So the Mondays came together and the Tuesdays came together.
Okay, I registered for all of, let's say Monday. I don't know which one I registered for. The link is in that acceptance of my registration because I had to go through and re-register in order to get in today.
Well, that doesn't sound like that's how it's supposed to work out. So thanks for bringing that to my attention. I can take a look at it and see how it looks on my end, and maybe they
Okay.
need to be individual invites as opposed to a recurrent meeting. But I think the hope when we sent that out was that you would be able to pick and choose which dates on the calendar you wanted to register for and one and done. And
Right.
you would be registered for the dates that you chose. But if that's not how it looks like it's working out and you're having to do it individually, did other folks have the same experience?
Yeah, I had the same issue. In fact, I was kind of surprised this morning when I didn't have the link and I quickly registered. So,
Okay.
and I don't think it allowed me to register for more than today's session.
If the link to join the meeting could be provided in your reminder email, that might solve the issue. But I don't know if that's possible or not.
Sure. And do you all have any feedback for us? Registration is nice because it gives us a clue who to expect or, kind of the number of folks that we're going to have attending a meeting, but it isn't altogether necessary. Do you find it's an extra step where you just rather have the link to just join directly? I'm
Yes.
also not remembering, I believe with Amanda's that you had to register But
No,
no, you didn't. You just got a link
you just got
to
a link and
join.
you just joined if you were able to join. And personally, that's how I would much prefer it.
All right, well, that's great feedback.
The link
I'll
was
take that
embedded
back
in
and
the
take a
calendar.
look at it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cindy.
The link was embedded in the calendar on your website.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That wasn't there. That's the first place I went and looked, and I didn't see that there either.
To the event calendar?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, it should be. There should be a registration link right to the right of the date.
Yeah.
right. But there's no link just to the meeting.
No,
And you
it's
can go
because
there.
that wasn't set up. These were
Okay.
all set up for folks to register.
Okay.
I'll take a look at that and maybe I don't want to inundate folks with different invites. But if any changes are made, you might get some, duplicative kind of messaging from me if we're sending out individual invites. But let me take a look at it. I'll run some things by Amanda and see how she did it and go from there if that sounds okay.
I
Great.
like the registration personally because then I can set it up in my system for a reminder. And Lord knows I need reminders.
That's a great point, Calvin. All right, I'm just jotting down some notes for myself here. All right, anyone else have anything they want to chat about?
I do. This is Sue.
Sue?
Yeah. I'm from Fairview Community Meal, and I've been trying to put statistics in for the month of January, and I can't get onto the PWW site. And I need to know if that's going to go against us because things aren't getting in on time.
All right, Sue, so you are, Devin, is that a partner of yours? Devin's gonna send you to your email right now, Sue, a direct link to
Okay.
the website where you do ordering and statistics.
Okay.
So a lot of people have been struggling with the partner portal changeover. And I'd love to talk about that a little bit as well. But in the meantime, while we're figuring out the partner portal and that, one email and authentication to get in, you don't need to go to the food bank's website to access the website where you're ordering food, right? So the food bank's website, that partner portal was kind of just a pass through where you'd go and you'd click the link to order and it would then take you to the actual website where you're ordering. So right now, people are having an issue getting to the partner portal, but there's no issue getting directly to the website to order. I would suggest bookmarking that website so you can just go directly there to do your stats and do your ordering. And I can put that, why don't I put that in the chat right now? It's just going to take me a second to find it. Because this is an issue that I think has come up for a lot of our partners is the running into kind of some trouble getting on our partner portal and not being able to order, not thinking you can order or enter your stats. And you can, it's just a slightly different process.
Well, not only
Yep.
would I need it to put in a shopping order, but we also do food recovery every other week. And that has to go to Kathleen Passetti.
Yeah. Yep. So any kind of statistics that you typically enter here on that same page where you're ordering, this will get you directly there. I just put that in the chat. Sue, Devin is going to email that to you directly.
Okay, thank you.
And Sue, did you say you were trying to put stats in for December?
No, for January.
Oh, okay. Yep. So I'll send you the link now, but they aren't due until the 3rd of February. So
You have
you're
a
all
little bit of time, but yes, this link will get you directly to that page.
Okay,
Does
thank
that
you.
make sense? So your username, and your password that you use for ordering or for statistics, none of that has changed.
But I
Okay,
thought
it's
we
just
got an email that said we had to change our our emails that we're going to be using from now on.
So part of the renewal process is going to be identifying one email address for your food pantry or for your meal site, whatever it might be. And that's going to be your main email address that the food bank sends things to and associates your accounts with. Okay. But that isn't required today, and it is built into the renewal process. So when you're filling out your agreement, it is going to ask you for that main email address. This also doesn't prevent, if you have additional email addresses signed up for us, like somebody gets an email about food recovery, say, right? Or you've got a different contact for delivery. Those are still valid and will still get their communications. I don't know that that lasts forever, but for right now, that those email addresses that you've signified certain communications have to go to will still receive them. Setting up and identifying which email address you want to use as your main contact is built into the renewal. So you don't need to do that prior to placing an order or entering your stats. Use the direct link that I put in our chat
Okay.
to access for now. I mean, that you could bookmark that page and that's always going to be where you go. You don't have to go through the partner portal. I'm going to ask, I have Lindsay Allen here as well, along with Devin, both joining us. And to keep feedback low, we'll keep it to one laptop. But again, if you have any specific questions for either one of them, please let me know. Or if either of you guys have anything to add about the one email address. I think honestly, I'll be transparent here. I don't have the greatest understanding of it. I think I have to ask some more questions and get a little more clarification, which I'm hoping I will have a chance to do today, because I see a lot of partners running into some hurdles here to get this done. So I want to make sure that we have the best information and are giving you the best advice to kind of navigate through it. So again, I think that has to start with me getting the right information first, for Devin getting the information and Lindsay getting the information, and making sure we're all aligned here at the food bank with how this is supposed to work. So I hate to have the answer be, well, here's a workaround, but for today, here's a workaround to get to those, to get to that website to enter your stats or to place an order.
Can we go back to stats for just a second?
Sure, Calvin, go right ahead.
I think the stat program is a hot mess. I don't know why we shouldn't be able to go in and enter stats each week. So so by the end of the month, they're just all there. I've been dinged for not getting my stats in on time, and that can be an issue. I mean, people out there need to remember we're volunteers too, and we've got a life sometimes. Once in a while, I get a life, not very often, but so I thought, okay, I'm going to do this a different way. And after the first week, I went in and put my stats in for the first week. Well, that's what you're getting for January, it looks like, because it won't let me address it again. Why can't that be set up so we can go in and adjust those stats as the month goes along?
I don't actually know. Do either of you know?
I don't know why the system is set up that way, but if you ever need anything corrected,
We can update,
yeah.
right?
So you can just send it in an email or a text or anything like that, Calvin, and one of us can go in and fix it.
I know you probably could, but see, I hate to keep leaning on you guys to take care of stuff that I could. I mean, it's just, if they could, and maybe it can't be fixed, but I think it's worthy of a conversation with somebody. Can this be fixed? So we could address it as we go through the month.
Sure, Calvin. And so you're not on SIMC. You're not on the food bank's intake, correct? Because that pulls stats directly for people and would kind of alleviate.
How does that work? I don't even know what
Well,
you're
I
talking about.
guess at meal sites, it's not rolled out yet. I don't know that when it would be, but that's a great question. And I'm puzzling over it. I think I have to talk to,
Somebody in programming, probably.
well, I think it's going to be Catherine Miller here at the food bank who kind of oversees all of our stats collection. Um, but it makes sense, Kelvin, because you're having a meal weekly.
Well, yeah,
Yet
I do 5 meals a month every
5 meals
Wednesday.
a month, and as it's set up right now, you can only submit, you're doing one entry per month for those 5 meals.
That's it, and I have to have those in by the third of the following month. So
Yes,
one hiccup and you're late. I mean, this it's as simple as that. I mean, let's say the third falls on a Sunday. That means I've got to get them done on Friday, or I've missed.
sure.
And
And we understand that, statistics, it can be a little stressful, and we also want to communicate the reason that we've kind of tightened up our parameters is because we have to then submit those numbers, and if they're late, then they don't count, and we're trying to make sure that you all get the credit for the people that you serve, and the food bank is reporting things accurately. So I know that there's some growing pains about the timeline with stats, but specifically about the monthly entry versus weekly. Calvin, I'm gonna do some digging on that and get back to you and see what I find out and see if there's a better solution for you. Okay?
yeah, sure. I mean, the fact that they've tightened things up, they need to maybe address the program so we can comply with that. I mean, you guys got to have your stats in by the 10th. We have to have ours in by the third.
Hmm.
So it's just such a short window that if you I mean, it's very easy in a busy life to not do it on the very first day that it's necessary, and that could be a Friday. And I just ran into this over the holidays where, like, you know uh, the holidays interfered with everything, and between Christmas being where it was and New Year's Day being where it was, it just interfered with everything, and it caused me to be late. And uh, I have reminders in my phone. Again, I'll go back to the fact that I need a lot of reminders.
No, and we completely understand that, life happens and things uh don't get submitted on time, and while there is a change to the way that consequences kind of roll out from late statistics, for the first, a suspension is us, the food bank is clicking a button. It's not something so severe that can't be easily rectified. And I think there was a lot of thought and time that went into how those different consequences were going to roll out. For example, if you're late one time versus two times, and then, restart, every 6 months on kind of on a cycle. So you're not getting dinged repeatedly for the same things. We want you to be able to get this done and to achieve it. So, but this is a valuable feedback, Calvin. I know that there can be frustrations around the process and procedures that we're asking everyone to file and or follow. And we are well aware that a large number of our, network is volunteer based, and this is, we ask a lot in general, right? And it can be, when there's change, it's a lot to keep up with. So, I want to be very mindful of that and understand that not everyone is going to get everything the first time, and this is going to be a process, and I'm just as fallible as anyone else, but we are here to assist you through it. So while I don't think the consequences, I think that that's pretty much set with the dates and the times for statistics. I do think that there is room for discussion, um, to see what the reasoning is why you can't submit weekly as opposed to monthly. I think that I would like some clarity there as well.
So Sarah, is it you that I would send the text to at the end of the month to give you the real statistics? Because my January's
Yes,
trust me,
absolutely.
we served
Put
more
them
than
in
that.
an email to me, Calvin.
Yeah.
That would be great. Yep. And
Okay.
I'll make sure that the correct numbers get posted, okay?
Okay. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Are there any other meal sites on with us, or am I the only meal site?
I'm a meal site.
And you're who from where?
I'm Sue Boucher from Fairview Community Meal.
Okay.
Sue, do you have the same kind of issue? How often do you serve meals?
Twice a month.
Twice a month, and you do you enter statistics all at once a month.
For the meal, yes.
Yep.
But for when I pick up the food recovery, I do it each day that I pick it up.
So that's daily. That's a daily
No,
entrance of how many pounds you're picking up. Okay.
we pick up every other week. So some months it's 3 times, some months it's only twice.
Okay. And we have Kelly from Loaves and Fishes on as well. It's also a meal site.
So I guess I have a question with the two other meal sites that are out there. How are your numbers? Are you seeing a downward fluctuation, upward, or are they kind of steady?
Our meal has been steady for quite some time. We're running right around 100 meals each time we do it, except for November, the Monday before Thanksgiving, we had 150.
Okay. We're experiencing a little bit of a downtrend. We're not sure why. It's certainly not because of the quality of the meal. I require a 3-course sit-down meal to be served every week, so it's we put on a really quality meal. We're not a soup kitchen, but our numbers are down. We used to average in the 90s to 100, and we're running in-house. We struggle to get to the 90s now.
Well, we're all takeout. We used to be in-house.
Yeah.
But once COVID came, it was decided to be all takeout.
We opted for in-house because we felt the socialization was an important aspect, and we also deal with a lot of homeless, so they get an hour and a half or so, or 2 hours once a week where they can come in, be warm, be out of the rain, and that kind of thing. And we have a fairly decent crowd of adults, maybe seniors that come because they can't cook, don't want to cook, or they just want the socialization, and that gets the homeless to be able to socialize a little bit too. I always lean back to the statement that my kids hated to hear over the years, but it's hard to fly like an eagle when you hang around with a bunch of turkeys. So we try to put some eagles in the crowd.
I don't know if Kelly's able to come off mute and share her experience, but I am curious if this is at all cyclical, Kelvin, with the weather, if that can contribute, or
Well,
what
yes,
folks' thoughts are
we know
there.
that the rainy season causes a little bit of a downflux for us because we do deal with some homeless, and we find that the homeless tend not to want to come out when it's wet or extremely cold, because if they get wet, they're not going to dry again. Yeah, it's a warming situation. So,
Sure.
and we did have a little bit of an issue. Early last year or late spring, where we had to implement a no backpack policy in our building. We experienced a situation where people were bringing things into the building in the backpack that was absolutely not wanted, weapons in particular. So we said, yeah, I met with the sheriff's department. We had a meeting, and they highly recommended the policy. So we're very strict about a no backpack policy, no drinks brought in, because we found people were actually bringing alcohol in bottles and drinking in the building. So, and that might have attributed a little bit to our downflux, because some of these people don't like rules.
I think though a lot of it, even the pantry. I'm Karen from Fairview Food Pantry, Sue's cohort here. We've had a downslide the last 2 months. Of course, when the SNAP thing went, it went absolutely nuts, and we couldn't even, barely take care of them. And then after the SNAP benefits went back into play, our numbers dropped, and they, haven't risen. And again, it could be the cold, could be the weather, but they have downslided a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious if food pantries are seeing the same thing. Does anyone have any insight on that? Oh, and first, Kelly did put in the chat. She said that their meals are pretty steady for lunch. Dinners have been about 20% lower because many of their guests opt to take the shelter transport to Code Blue Shelter. Thank you for sharing that, Kelly.
Well, we wonder also that the community kitchen used to only do lunches, and they're doing dinners now. So it could be that some of our guests, live closer in walking distance to there, and so they're opting to go there. So that
Sure.
also, we specifically picked Wednesday night for our meal site because nobody offered anything on a Wednesday night in Chemung County. So that's why we opted for that. Now we have, I don't want to call it competition, but we have somebody else, offering. And that's great. I mean, if the people are getting fed, that's all that matters. I mean, a lower number is certainly more manageable, especially with, the cost of goods going up so much and the lack of supply from the food bank.
What lack of supply are you referring to, Calvin?
Any like your donated goods and
TFAP has been very low.
TFAP and New York Parish. I mean, like it used to be you'd go in and there'd be lists, and there'd be just so much stuff to choose from. And, now it's like, there's not much there. I certainly don't need any pinto beans or any more kidney beans, they've been on there forever. And cottage cheese, you can only use so much cottage cheese and stuff, but there just seems to be a lot less available there, which puts some, financial burden back on the meal site itself. We've seen about I think it's about a 56% increase in our internal costs with this program right now. We've even had
Kelvin, I just want to pause you right there and make sure that that everyone on the call, that you're all aware that emergency funding available at the end of 2025 is still there and covering all of your orders.
As far as you mean, like buying other stuff that's not in the program, not in the free site and like that?
I mean, everything on our menu, everything nutritional is covered by an internal grant at this point for all of you.
So like
it has been.
So like if I pick up roast, like ground beef, like, that's.
You shouldn't be paying for any of it.
Does that come out of my grant allocation, or is that coming out of something else?
No, it's coming out of a pooled emergency fund.
Okay, so I guess I wasn't really totally online with that because that's
I want to take the temperature of the rest of you on the call and check on awareness of that, because I know that a lot of comms came out towards the end of the year when that money was available to all of you. I want to make sure that folks know that money is still there.
See, I thought that was only when you ran out of grant money.
Me too.
Well, what I keep telling people is that
don't worry about your grant money.
Yeah, I keep telling people.
I'm going to turn you to Devin. Hold on.
I just keep saying to people to stop looking at numbers because money is getting moved around by our grant people so that they make sure that things are being depleted on time because, as you know, everything has due dates and that sort of thing. But whenever you run out of grant money, or if they need to use a different thing that is running out sooner that isn't your grant money, they just switch it out. So I just tell people just to stop looking at the numbers because for this year, the entire year, everything is free. If you order food from the food bank, it is free.
from 2026?
Hopefully it will last that long. They think it should
Oh,
last for the
wow.
entire year.
I was concerned when the well went dry, it would be like, okay, we don't have any more, and then you'd have this enormous bill to have to
Yeah.
pay.
So maybe more communication should go out to
Yeah, I don't think we're
everybody and
all
make sure
aware of
everybody's
that.
aware of it. But
Right, no, I wasn't. I knew it was there.
Absolutely not aware of that.
yeah,
So Devin,
yeah,
if right now, I know we're not supposed to look at grants, but everything right now is coming out of my legislative funding grant. Is
yeah,
that because that has a deadline of March? Is that why?
right. Yeah, and like I said, they'll on our end they're moving money around so that you might see more in your account all of a sudden, or less because it's run out. I just keep telling people to not bother looking at any of it because it's going to continue to change, but everything is free. I mean, I think Sarah, you had a good analogy of like, who cares if it's Monopoly money or money from some other board game or something, you know what I mean? Like, it's all free at the end of the day.
I know
And
they
then in
knew.
2027, when it's back to like the regularly scheduled program, is when it'll be like, okay, here's your allotted money, and we're you have to budget again. But at the moment, if you run out of anything, it'll then be switched to a pooled grant, which we have on our end, and everything's covered. So
Wow. That's huge news. Huge news.
Well, and I think again, you're all kind of in different scenarios about where the money gets pulled from. First, some folks have county grants, some folks have a kind of a different shuffle of where the money gets pulled. But to Devin's point, it's almost not worth your, I don't believe it's worth anyone's time or effort to worry too much about where the money is being pulled from. Because again, the workings here behind the scenes at the food bank are going to ensure that anything that might expire or, not be spent by its expiration is used first. But there's plenty of supplemental funds for this year that are available across our network for whatever you need. But it sounds to me, I think maybe the food bank, we could be a little bit clearer on that and send out some updated information so folks understand that. Has anyone else anything to add specifically about funding?
I would just like to say thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up, Calvin.
Yeah, it's that's a huge plus for us. Like, there's times where I'm thinking, well, we've got ground beef, so I know we'd like to cook chicken, but we got ground beef, so we're going to use ground beef right now. So that's extremely exciting news for me because I work with 4 different teams that cook.
Sure.
Unfortunately, I cook on 3 of the 4, but I like them to be creative too. So like some of our meals are things like we do chicken parm, for instance. And that's nice to know that if somebody wants to cook chicken parm, I'll say, yeah, I'll get it for you. Don't worry about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think this is not a problem that we will always have, and it's not a problem that most of us are familiar with, but let's take advantage of it while it's there and order what you need and order what you can safely use and distribute. And for once, let cost and budget almost take a back seat. I think if we're going to find a silver lining in anything that came out from the, government shutdown and SNAP not being released, and then kind of the birth of this emergency money that's available, I think let that be it. That like take that off of your plate, take that budgetary worry off your plate for the time being.
Yeah.
the only number you need to focus on is the 750-pound delivery minimum. That's what I keep telling everybody. If you're getting a direct delivery, that's the only number you need to look at right now.
And that went down a bit, didn't it? It used to be 1,000 pounds.
Used to be 1,000. Yep. 750 now.
Okay. I didn't know that either. That's nice.
Yep.
There's lots of times I order like 600 pounds. If I knew another 150 pounds, and I don't have to figure out how to get it all in the back end of my Jeep.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, and I think that's sorry, I'm gonna flip you around. I'm probably giving everyone vertigo trying to watch us here. That's a good segue. Lindsay just suggested that I give you all a reminder that, the food bank's freezer will be shut down for maintenance, and our anticipated date for that is February 7th. So we encourage if you have to order a little bit more leading up to that, or be prepared also once it's done that, it'll take a little time for us to get fully back up to stock once the work is done. We will have a trailer of a freezer trailer here on site to have a few staples in, such as ground beef. But in general, our freezer selection is going to be limited while that work is done. Just for you to be aware. Does anyone have any
How long?
questions or concerned? I think we're anticipating a week, Calvin, but
That's not bad.
it's 2 weeks. I'm sorry. Excuse me. See, 2 weeks.
I'm always amazed that you can keep that huge ass room that cold.
What's that?
I'm always amazed that you can keep that huge room that cold.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be, I'll spend more time in there when it's not so cold. We can hang out when it's shut down, but yeah, it's not ideal, but this is real life, right? Like our freezers, just like your freezers, need some maintenance every now and again. And I think they've been really intentional about making sure that a few of those staple products are still available, and the guidance that we've been giving to kind of order ahead of time to in anticipation of our limitations, and then also to be aware on the back end that it takes us a while to then replenish what we have in stock as well.
So some of the food you get, obviously you guys are buying. I recognize you go into a lottery type system. For what it's worth, I've been continually searching because this is a pretty expensive outside buy for us. Is broth.
Mm,
I haven't had broth in so long, and I would say there's very few weeks that go by that we don't use broth. If our guys are cooking something, they use broth instead of water to enhance the flavor.
sure.
To give it that restaurant quality. And you guys haven't had broth in forever.
Well, that's a great time to bring it up. We have our GFAT team, which stands for Good Food Acquisition Team.
Uh-huh.
And we have a meeting this week. So that's the perfect place for us to bring requests or suggestions from our network for things that you're not seeing on the menu. So I'll add that to the list, Calvin. Thank you.
Yeah, broth would be really helpful. I
Sure.
don't know about anybody else, but it would be for us.
Yeah, let's see. Is there anything else that folks are not seeing on the menu? Again, I know TFAP has been very, very thin, and will continue to be over the next couple months by what it looks like. But in general, are there things that you're missing from the menu that I can bring to that food acquisitions team and get some feedback on?
Can you give us an estimated time of ground beef? It hasn't been on the menu for 2 or 3 weeks, and we're down to our last 10 pounds. So, or even a source of where to go buy, 1 pound.
Oh, it sounds like Devin might have some intel.
Well, I'll find it and I'll tell you this. I
Okay.
just put it in an email to somebody.
All right, he's looking that up right now. Hold
Right.
on.
I mean, I've been handing out ground chicken, but I know they'd rather have ground beef.
And again, that's a great question for us to bring to that GFAT team if we don't have an answer, but it sounds like Devin's got some inside information.
We're also looking at frozen vegetables. So again, they've been kind of missing, and I just assumed it was because the freezers were going down and you were trying to clean out, but
It could be, but I'll ask about that. But for the ground beef, it looks like February 2nd is when we're getting the shipment in.
Did you hear
Okay.
that? February 2nd for
Okay.
ground beef?
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything they want to add? Oh, Karen, go ahead.
I do. I my I my hair. So I don't know what's happening, but I want to let you know I put make.
We lost her.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
You there?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. We have the thing that I find hard is like we try to keep in dairy the best we can. And yogurt is like a hit and miss thing. And sometimes I catch it. We only order like maybe once a month, maybe every 3 weeks at best. And sometimes it's there, and then of course it's gone by the time we go to order. Is there like a set time yogurt comes in? So maybe I could schedule around then.
It's coming in.
Just is there a set time for yogurt or dairy that comes in? Again, I
cheese.
don't know that question. The folks on the GFAT who are
Okay.
responsible for ordering those loads would know, and
Okay.
I
Rapid.
can
Got it.
ask and then send out kind of with this recording what I
Okay.
find out. Because we don't want you to miss out on that. We've got such great, again, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
typically no cost anyway, but
And then the
especially with,
milk is very sporadic. I
Yeah.
mean, you usually see that occasionally, and they absolutely go crazy when I get milk. I mean, they're so happy to see it.
I think some of the problems with some of that product is like when it comes in,
speak on that.
you guys might have pantry sites that just take so much of it, it gets depleted so quick that the rest of us that are looking for a few cases, it's just not there anymore. Like I'll go in and see stuff and I'll think, I don't want to take stuff I'm not going to use. So sometimes I'll see something and I'll send a quick text off to one of my cooks and say, hey, could you work this in? And they'll say, yeah. And then I'll go back and say, sorry, I missed it.
Yeah. You're
Karen,
right.
Lindsay here has a question for you that she thinks might shed some light.
You're right.
So,
I do the same.
hi.
Yeah.
So just a suggestion too that I wanted to make is, with everything being free on our
Hi.
menu, we are seeing that people are ordering obviously more and things are going off the menu faster. A suggestion I would just make to all of you is that you can open your order up 7 days prior to your delivery. So just
I do
making sure you do that so you can add things into your cart and actually get on like maybe a few times if you're able to, because it does open up being able to see a lot more items and getting those items instead of, just opening it up one time, placing your order and being done with it. If you open your order up that 7 days ahead of time and just, kind of like Instacart, just add some things, leave it alone, come back 2 days later, add some things. That really will help
I'm
make sure.
obsessed with it. I'm on all the time. I can't. It's constant. I'm on 3 or 4 times a day once I.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. Well, maybe other people
Want to
didn't know
tell me
that.
to
So
stay off it.
The only
you're
problem with
addicted
that,
to it.
the only problem with that is if you forget to submit it, you lose it. So you got to be careful.
That's true.
I wish the system was set up so, like I always set my deliveries up for Wednesday, and so I've got to release them by Monday at 10 o'clock. I just wish the system was set up instead of deciding that we don't need it or, it's not going to happen on time. That if I've asked for it for Wednesday, if at 10 o'clock, that's the cutoff, it automatically triggers it into the Wednesday load rather than deleting it. It seems like
Well,
it seems like that would be an
that's a
easy
little
fix.
tricky on our end to assume that someone who started an order absolutely wants it, and that could cause quite a bit of chaos, I think, on our end of things with picking orders and etc. So it's not a perfect system, but I think everyone's doing their best. Folks, we have 15 minutes left. I want to make sure that you have time to share with the group if there's anything else on folks' minds. Just I wanted to point out the time we have left together and give you all a chance to share.
Ham grants are due at the end of this week if you didn't get them in. Sorry,
I don't know if no, I didn't. Thanks, Lindsay. That was Lindsay. Also, with a reminder that ham grants, the application is due by the end of the week if you haven't gotten that in yet.
When will we know the results of our application? Do we know?
Probably a week after that.
Okay.
I haven't heard.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think they try to get it out pretty quickly. Yeah, sometime within February.
You're talking about due dates. Is there any way to check to make sure that the annual renewal partner agreement that I sent in, I think a week or 10 days ago, is in the works? If there's anything missing from it?
Cindy, did you get an email to let you know that it had been received? Did you get any kind of communication from us after submitting?
That automatic submission email? Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
does
think
anybody look at it to make sure that, no,
They
no,
will, but
Cindy
it might
missed
not
this
be.
big hole?
Yeah.
yeah, they're reviewing them as they come in. And I think trying to reach out to folks if there is anything missing or anything needing, further explanation or submissions, but
Right. I mean, it's a lot to keep
I'm
track
not
of.
checking them. I don't know, Devin, are you checking?
No, I mean the admin team, Amanda and Bree review them as they come in, and they'll certainly let you know if there's anything missing
Yeah,
or any problems with.
you'd get some communication directly from them if there was something that you needed to submit. So I think if you receive the automated submission and nothing else, we're gonna assume that you're good to go for now and
If not,
I
we'll
wouldn't
hear.
even know how to check. Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to check outside of what admin is doing because they're so kind of involved in that process.
Right.
So not that we've heard, Cindy, I think you're in good shape for
It's
now.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to being a food bank partner, and it's easy to kind of not be aware of things or kind of let things
Sure.
fall
No,
through
and
the cracks.
we get that. Yeah.
So maybe that would be something you could add to these
Sure.
meetings, is just remind us, the ham grants, the renewals, the capital equipment, whatever kind of programming is
Yeah,
available.
we'll do our best to
Just
put
make
those
that a
reminders
regular.
here and it's also going out in Amanda's monthly digest and also in our newsletter. Those are two other great monthly resources where all of those reminders can be found. Also on our events calendar that we touched on earlier with the links to these meetings.
Mhm.
I believe that calendar also outlines certain due dates as well. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot to keep straight, Cindy. And I know if you're anything like me, I like to have kind of multiple fail
Remind-
safes in place
yeah.
to check on things. So that, absolutely. And again, this group, you as peers will have plenty to add to that, like what works for you to keep these things kind of straight. How do you organize the year in front of you, knowing what's going to be due annually? Because so much of this stuff is cyclical. And I'm sure that you all kind of have your own process through all of it. That works for you and works for your team. And yeah, I mean, I think if anyone has any tips and tricks, everyone's ears are always open and happy to hear because it's a lot to keep straight. Absolutely.
I'd like to throw something out here because I got a lot of people that are in the know right now. Is I am looking to hire a cook for the third Wednesday of every month. I'm up against the wall finding a volunteer, and right now I'm cooking week 1, 3, and 4. So I'd like to shed 3. Um, it can't be a high paid position, but we certainly could find a stipend to pay somebody to come in and cook one Wednesday a month. So if you hear of anybody, give me a shout.
Yeah, Kelvin, we'll definitely keep you in mind if that comes up. Where have you posted? Have you posted at the meal site or done anything online?
I did a little bit of stuff through social media, and honestly, then I had to back off that because I got a few crazies,
Sure.
people that like, yeah, I could come cook for you. Yeah, I
Well,
have to
we'll
be
keep
I
that in
have to
mind
be
if
somewhat
any.
selective to keep my food service manager certificate in place.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You might not be able to take that third week off.
Yeah. Don't say that.
No, I won't. Knock on wood. You'll find somebody. Anybody else have anything? I think my next steps after this call, we've got a few things to bring to that food acquisition team. Questions about, when we'll be seeing more product and kind of if there's any rhyme or reason to when we're receiving dairy. I'm also going to look at all the invites to these meetings and see if I can play around with that registration piece and make it a little less cumbersome for you folks.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look into statistics.
Yes, and I'm going to talk to the team here about stats and see, Kelvin, if there is any kind of adjustment or wiggle room with how that weekly versus monthly entry is done.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anything else, folks? I'm grateful to see all of you and grateful for this time together. And yeah, if you ever have something that you're raring to bring to the group and you want to run past us here at the food bank first, please send it along my way or just come to the next office hours and share with this network. And we want to make sure that this is worth your time and kind of have this space for you to use as makes the most sense. But I do appreciate all of you for jumping on today, and we will hopefully see you again in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Take care and
Nice-
stay
nice
warm,
seeing you, Deb.
everybody. Bye.